even know where to begin about like this Charlie Kirk thing. And like the whole reason I even like it just won't leave my brain because I don't. Here, like I didn't bat an eye when it came to the CEO. When it came to Luigi, it felt like spiritually, ethically, like I don't know, there was some justification in that felt like a cataclysm of justice in a way. Okay, now I firmly believe that, or I have a part of me has a pin in the theory that all of this is CIA operations, conspiracy theorists, propaganda. I don't think anyone really knows what they can and cannot believe, what they can and cannot trust. I think things are really fucking insane right now. And so the question is, or the debate out there is, did Charlie Kirk deserve to die? Or did the CEO deserve his execution? I believe the CEO deserved his execution. I don't necessarily believe it needed to be done in that way. That is a unhinged level of anarchy. So people who know me, who understand my philosophy and train of thinking, not just as an Aquarius, but as a philosophical anarchist, someone who studies philosophy, theology, and trying to figure out what this represents. Well, history is just repeating itself over and over again. We are at the peak of a global genocide and religious persecution. That is what we're facing. We're facing nuclear war and genocide because certain populations of people want ultimate power. And there's an illusion of power in the people who are being attacked. I think Charlie Kirk, celebrities, podcasters, influencers, any of these supposed like inspiring, ideologically inspiring public figures, I think they have an illusion of power. Therefore, I don't necessarily agree with Charlie Kirk's murder in that way. I don't agree with him. I don't think he's necessarily a good person. I think he's a Christian, and I think Christians think that they are good people. And I think overall Christians have good traits in a general sense of it all. I think that there are extreme takes where they lack humanitarianism. And I don't know, like I think it's too complex to say one way or another, and I don't like this division. Maybe he ultimately deserves to die for his like political stance. Maybe this was stopping something worse from happening. Maybe this was divine intervention because of his politics, his way of thinking, and what he was promoting. He easily could have been someone to start implementing these policies with some of the grotesque things that he has said and done. However, he's debating people. I think that having someone with such loud, not just divide, but like polarizing views, I think is necessary to allow them a platform to speak because it's out there. It's no longer in the shadows, it's at the surface. And again, I guess murdering him is like, well, we're not going to tolerate that. No, you cannot tolerate it in other ways. I don't know, it's a really difficult stance to take that I mainly because, like, here's the thing, it's okay, so it's not even that he's a good person who didn't deserve to die or whatever, or that I'm against political violence. I don't think this action, this tactic, this political tactic, I don't think is going to work in the favor of the left in the way that they think. I think it actually damages people with more liberal views than it does help. I think it gives the Christian conservatives a stronger leg to stand on about religious persecution, like, and all of these other things. And then it's also super ironic that supposed, I don't know if like the person who shot him is a liberal, but it's like, well, we're anti-gun violence, so if you're anti-gun violence, don't use a gun to shoot somebody. But then that's where we don't know these people, like, the people shooting and using these guns that are supposedly anti-gun, that doesn't make sense. That's weird. If you're anti-gun, you shouldn't use a gun, even to make a point. That doesn't make any sense. Like, to prove that, well, I don't know. That's a whole other thing. Like, this is just, it's a really hard discussion to have. I don't agree with it, is that I don't think it was the right decision. Not for any other reason that I don't think that this is going to put us in the momentum in the direction that we want to go. I think it's going to further divide people. I think it's going to breed more cycles of revenge and trauma, and we're moving away from healing. We're moving away from unification and coexistence and balance and harmony, and we're moving into a state of nuclear war, because this is a domino effect that is going to trigger people in the wrong direction. If people wanted to start a civil war, this is a really good start. And people are already saying these are the faces of the fucking revolution. No, Charlie Kirk is not someone who deserves or is worthy of being a martyr or a face of a movement. A lot of his stances, a lot of his quotes are deplorable. He's unethical, but also, which I guess is fitting in a way. He's an unethical person who had an unethical death. I don't know. I just, my stance is I don't agree with anybody. I don't agree with the right. I don't agree with the left. I'm fairly central in my political beliefs. I claim philosophical anarchy, not in the sense that anarchy is total chaos, which is what a lot of political violence people fucking think. It's not. It's disciplined control. It's law and order in chaos. It's Saturn energy, for those who understand astrological or ancient myths, and that's what it teaches you, is you can't have total uncontrolled chaos. You have to have law and order in chaos. Boundaries are healthy and are necessary, and so it's setting boundaries around how far a voice or an ideology can go. And if it only went as far as an open discussion, that does not equate to being murdered. Because that's all I know about Charlie Kirk. I know some of his quotes. I've seen some of his clips. I don't know how much power he has, but I feel like he has an illusion of power. I feel like if we were going to invoke political violence, it needs to be targeted at the right people who actually have power, and I don't think most of the public know who those people are. I think that this very well could be, like I said, a CIA operation that is going to further divide people to push an agenda. This is only going to allow more martial law, more dictatorship over Trump. This right here, and the emotional response is what they are counting on from both the left and the right. They want us to be divided. They tried it with racism and dividing black and white, and that didn't work. And so now they're doing it like politically and ideologically on deep emotionally rooted connections. And here's the thing: if you want to live a Christian life with Christian values, that is your right. You don't get to tell other people how to live. And there's so much just messiness in those boundaries. We don't have clear boundaries on individualism and autonomy because we're too busy trying to make other people live the life that we want to live. If you want to live a certain life, you live a certain life for yourself. And then again, there's got to be boundaries on how much your life can go into your children, because your child is still also an autonomous being. And I don't know. I just don't think, I don't think we're taking the right steps to the goals. I don't think this is how we solve our problems. I think it's a very much like an Avatar stance, where you don't murder the Fire Lord, you take away his firebending power, like that metaphor. I think that's more of the direction that we need to go, because violence only cycles more violence. And when will it end? When are people actually sick of it? Because if you were actually sick of violence, you wouldn't use violence to stop violence. That was like the whole message behind that entire series, I would believe.